Hey guys, I just wanted to do a Sunday morning chat. I know, right? How lovely. Um, I have done a video every day for a week. I've done yoga every day for a week. I've meditated every day for a week. And I haven't had meat all week. So I kind of just wanted to check in and talk, not necessarily about those specific things, but just about the power of doing that. I already feel so many positive benefits from my life from making that commitment to myself and sticking to it. I'll add a link below, but I've talked before on other videos. I'm a fan of Gretchen Rubin, who's the author of The Happiness Project and Better Than Before, and she has these she talks a lot about habits, and she has this thing where you can find out if you're either an obliger, a rebel, an upholder, or a questioner. And to me, I think that those things fit pretty closely with the Myers-Briggs. Obliger seems to be FJs. Basically, you follow habits whenever somebody else is counting on you. The questioner reminds me of TPs, which means that you will stick to a habit if you think it makes sense, but it doesn't matter if anyone's expecting it from you. It just matters what you think. Upholders remind me of TJs. It's like they will stick to it no matter what. And rebels remind me of FPs, where there is no rhyme or reason. They'll just do it if they feel like doing it. It doesn't matter if someone's expecting them or if it makes sense. It just really depends on their mood. And to me, I've been trying to use this to inform my decisions whenever I'm trying to make positive changes in my life. I'm a total obliger. Like, if anyone's counting on me, I'm gonna do it. Like, I excelled in school because if I had homework due, I was gonna get it done. Like, I didn't want to risk anyone thinking of me as lesser than. So, this is really kind of the first time that I've made a commitment to myself that nobody else was counting on me. But what I've been doing is, I put on YouTube, like, hey, I'm doing this, and like all of my other friends, I'd be like, hey, I'm doing this, so if you see me not doing this, tell me to stop. And tried to like put up some safeguards just honestly by talking about it. That could be a tip for other FJs. If you want to get some positive change, if you know you're serious about it, if you start telling everyone about it, because then you have to live up to that. And that is the biggest motivator of all, is what people think. Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to talk about yoga for a bit. That I'm not very much into physical activity. Whenever you talk about like the mind, body, spirit connection, like my body is definitely the lacking part. I just would basically ignore it my entire life because I hated sports, I hated physical activity like growing up, and so I think I just sort of learned like, oh, these bodily and physical activities aren't for me. I am for thinking and creating and living up here in my head, using my spirit for creativity, using my mind. I never paid attention. And even yoga, even though you might think, I don't know, you might think I'm the type of person to like yoga, even that was kind of weird for me. Like, I'm not very flexible. Like, I remember I was playing tennis in high school. I know, like, that was like the one physical activity I did, and I was like the worst on the team. That's another story for later, because I really did prove something to myself whenever I made myself continue doing tennis. But anyway, I was doing tennis, and I like hurt my knee or something, and I had to do physical therapy where I had to do these stretches or whatever, and then like our insurance didn't cover it, and so I just stopped doing it. But it was just literally as simple as like touching your toes or something, and I couldn't do it. I was trying to stretch as I did this video by sitting like this on my knees, but it hurts like hell just doing this. But let's see if I can do it some more. But anyway, my point is that I'm not very flexible. And so even yoga, something that is a very non-intimidating activity, seemed a little intimidating to me as well. But the reason why I even went was because there was this like yoga in abundance workshop in Kansas City. And see, I care about, and it was like meditating and like talking about abundance and what it means in your life. I'm like, meditating, got it. Talking with strangers about personal feelings, got it. I could do that. Stretching, I don't know. But that's what motivated me to do it, was to go to a workshop where I had to talk about things that it was more my comfort zone. I was like, oh, well, I can at least meet people or something. Anyway, I did that. And I got a yoga mat because I had to for that. And the past like 6 months or something, I've been like seeing on Facebook different yoga events and clicking like interested, but like not actually going to any of them. But I have this yoga mat at home, and so I forced myself to just do it, even if it was a very small like stretch, and to like not try and go crazy and just do it. And it's amazing how much you can learn from your body. Like, as someone that is a more cerebral person, I live a lot in my head, and this goes beyond Myers-Briggs. When I say cerebral, I don't mean thinker. If anything, it seems to be more of an intuitive and general thing. People that don't really encompass their body, they're just all up here. Yeah, I don't encompass my body, and it's amazing how much you can learn about your emotions and just where you generally are in life by listening to your body like that. I had so much tension, like on my shoulders, my neck, my head, and you know how like everyone knows what a headache is, right? Yeah, it's when your head aches. But whenever you say the word heartache, people think of it as like just some fluttery word to use in a song, right? But it's actually a thing. Like, your heart aches, you know, like it feels like a headache, but it's down here. It's not heartburn, it's an achy feeling, and it's normally encompassing and normally comes with sadness. Anyway, like, I realized that I've been avoiding yoga because I've had that sort of tension and sadness just within me for like over a year now, like it's nothing. But I haven't been paying attention to that feeling. There were a lot of tense areas in my body that I just wasn't paying attention to because I just think all day and I talk all day that I literally don't pay attention to. And I think that I realized that yoga can be a great tool for connecting those things. And I think that it's especially a great tool for other intuitives that feel very disconnected from their body and don't pay attention to it. And the not eating meat thing was a whole other thing that had to do with me trying to be connected with my body. I don't really think I want to go into that much here, like, but I do, just thinking about the way certain foods make you feel, and do you feel rejuvenized? Are you eating enough fruits and vegetables? Like, what's so weird to me is how I'm not like trying to go vegan. Like, I care about the animals, I care about the environment, I care about those things, right? And you would think like that me as a feeler, I would be motivated by that. You think I would be motivated by those feeling like heartstring motivations to do something, but actually the most motivating thing for me is, well, if your brain feels more alive and more clearer, then you're more capable of doing good work that can, and so like, I'm more motivated by wanting to eat the right food so that my brain functions properly, so that I don't, like, cry for no reason, or that I don't, like, waste my, so that I don't waste my capabilities. Like, I want my content, either at work when I'm writing or anything else, like, I want it to make the biggest amount of impact, and so I want my brain to be at the right space for that. But anyway, so I already know meditation's great, and I'm just gonna say that it's like, I'm not gonna try and convince anyone to meditate who thinks it's horseshit, but if you already agree with meditating as a good practice, ask yourself, why the fuck don't you do it? Because I'm there. Like, I meditated for a 30-day stretch, like, at the beginning of the year, and I just didn't keep up with it, and I stopped. I just feel better on the days I meditate. It's undeniable, and I don't know, it's almost like a weird form of self-sabotage to not give yourself the time, even if it's just 5 minutes to meditate, if you know it works for you. I've had so many freaking realizations about my life this week just from doing yoga and from meditating, and it doesn't even feel like pulling teeth to do a video each day anymore. So I'm excited about the future, because I feel like just doing yoga and meditating would give me more energy to where making just a 5-minute video on my phone, that's one thing. But what I really want to do is take the time to write extensive type descriptions and make a compelling video for you. And that has been so hard for me to even feel like I had the energy to do. But it's amazing how much energy doing yoga and meditating can give you. And so I'm actually going to share a few things for the second half of this that I learned this week through that. One thing I learned is, I kind of talked about this in the video that I made previously, like last week, about the ENFJ. It's similar to the INFJ door slam, but it's the ENFJ ultimatum. I have learned that although cutting people out of your life that aren't helping your growth is good, that the way you do it matters, and slamming the door is never good. Even though I know that NFJs, when they get to this point, and just a refresher if you haven't seen that video, INFJs, they have this thing called the door slam, where if they're on their last straw with someone, they'll just cut them out of their life and be like, all right, bye. And ENFJs do a similar thing, but before they slam the door, they tend to be like, all right, this or that. You're either with me or you're not. They're kind of dramatic about it. But then the same thing happens, and they slam the door, and the same internal process happens to both the INFJ and the ENFJ, where they are like, they've just turned their attention away. And they might have some repressed anger, repressed sadness, but for the most part, they're fine to just keep moving. Gosh, what was I talking about? Okay, so when you slam the door like that, it's not good for you because of that repressed sadness and anger. And I don't know about you, INFJs, when you do your door slam, but for me, I think that when I do that to someone, I think after the fact, like, do they hate me? Do they know that I don't hate them? Do they know that this isn't out of anger? Okay, the video cut out because I needed to delete some shit. But to finish my point, INFJs and ENFJs, whenever they decide that someone is not helping their growth and they want them out of their life, remember that how you say it is important too, because you want what's best for them and you want what's best for you. And so having that repressed anger and that repressed sadness, like, isn't helping you. And so make sure that you figure out how to deal with that. But I'm gonna move on because I don't have much time, but I want to talk about integrity and how important it is. So, what is integrity? Do you know what it is? You've probably heard it said, but the definition, not only does the definition say something about, I'm not even going to be specific here, but the definition is about your character, someone possessing character, but it also, in the second definition, integrity means when something is whole and not fragmented. And let me tell you, I am fucking done with people who have fragmented personalities. Oh my God. And you know what? Everyone is, and I'm guilty of it too. But I'm just saying, I am so done with people who say that they're one way and they act a different way. Or they say one thing and then they be something different. Or they want their cake and they want to eat it too. Or they just are so disconnected from their heart, and they don't understand that their actions are portraying something completely opposite from what their heart wants. It drives me crazy more than anything else. But anyway, the thing I want to talk about integrity is that integrity is about choosing to act on your character 24/7. Now, everyone knows their character and their values, right? And whenever you're in a good mood, of course you're gonna fucking be a good person. Of course you're gonna choose your values when you're in a good mood. That's easy. But whenever you're in a bad mood, whenever you are experiencing trauma, whenever you feel threatened, whenever you feel unworthy, then what value do you choose? Then what character do you possess? Do you possess or do you possess the character that you value? Or are you reactive in fight or flight mode? Do you turn into a different person? Something that's really hard for me as an ENFJ is because I see someone's character right off the bat. But I think that what I don't get is that with most people, their integrity or their character changes whenever they're in a bad mood or whenever they're afraid. And I don't have time for that. I don't have time for people to not act like good people whenever they feel fearful or whenever they feel confused or not sure what they want, or in any sort of stress. Like, it's just no excuse to be a dick, you know? Like, I don't understand. And I'm sorry, but TPs are the most guilty of this. STPs and NTPs. If you want to tell me why you do this, let me know. But it seems like TPs can be the most charming people when you meet them, but then they aren't holistically charming. Like, they can make themselves they can give themselves a reason of like, oh, well, I'm tired right now, so it's okay that I act this way, or, oh, well, and then sometimes the reasons are more legit, like, oh my gosh, like, my mom just died, or, oh, like, I just lost my job. But that still doesn't excuse you to act like a dick. Like, there are still other people around you that are experiencing lives that are just as worthy as you. So the thing with integrity is that for me, I'm just at the stage where I know that I'm going through a lot of healing in my life. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not over. There's a lot of pain that I'm not over. And I know that I'm a reactive person, and so I just want to put myself out of the situation whenever I notice that someone isn't displaying integrity. And it's not because they're a bad person. It's not because I'm better than them. It's just that I know myself, and I know that I'm going to get really reactive and emotional and clingy or weird if I stick around someone with bad integrity, because what I do is I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, oh, they're just tired. Oh, they're just afraid. Oh, they're just whatever. Like, I read your emotions. And like I said, this is a lot of times TPs. But the point is that wholeness and character is so important, and I'm not trying to diss on TPs. I'm really not. Like, don't tell anyone, but you're my favorite types. So, but it's really hurtful for me as a person to, I always get my hopes up about people. And I always get my hopes up in the sense that I don't think about the outcome really anymore. But I do get my hopes up about people's character. And so I get really shattered whenever someone's character disappoints me. And so I'm just trying to use that frame of integrity to check people with. Not like, are they happy? Are they being a good person? Are they smiling? Are they fun? Are they comfortable? Are they warm? Those aren't really the right questions to ask. The right questions to ask is, how do they act in times of stress? Because how they act in times of stress is how they're going to act all the time. And honestly, shout out to TJs, because I actually think TJs are really good at acting consistent in times of stress and choosing their character in times of stress. We all can learn from them. And you know what? I'm just going to say, too, as a side note, that that's kind of the way I view Myers-Briggs. Is these are all tendencies and preferences and they're all right and wrong in their own way, and we all can learn from each other. I don't view it as like, this is your personality and this is your personality, you guys got to stay away from each other because you're different. Like, these are just ways of processing. Like, we're all individually different people, but these are ways of processing that they understand, like, truths about the world. And I understand a truth about the world that's different than what someone who's not an ENFJ might, because they're just lenses that you see the world. They're not really you. Like, you are not an ENFJ. You are not an INTP. You are this person experiencing the world through an INTP experience or an INFJ experience. Anyway, integrity, that's a big deal. If you don't have it, GTFO is basically my thing right now. And I've also become a lot more comfortable with being alone and really being choosy about who I give my energy to and my time to, even my mental energy, even just thinking about someone. I've become a lot more choosy, and you know, I freaking love it. Like, and I really just believe that something good is coming in my life, and I'm excited to see what it is, because I really believe that the more I'm true to myself, then the more I'm going to attract more people like that, and more people like me, and not just people who are literally like me, but people that can support my growth, and people who I can help support their growth, and people that want to be on the same page with me, and people that don't want to bullshit me, and people that are not going to be wishy-washy with me. Like, I think that's my problem, is that P's, I think, are the most inspiring type. All of them. But they all are so wishy-washy with me, but you know, like, not all of you are, and I know there are good ones out there. Like, I just, alright, I'm done talking about type in this respect. I'm just gonna say, everyone, like, I don't want to connect a personality trait like integrity with the type. So, but I can say generally that P's have a harder time with being direct or something. But my point is, I want to be all in for someone, and I want them to be all in for me in every respect. And I've seen this same dynamic with like freelancing gigs. People that are like, oh yeah, sounds great, or like, oh, totally, you're so great. Like, there's people, I don't, being authentic is more than just not lying. Like, being authentic is a step above not lying. Like, you can be not lying and still not be authentic. And being authentic takes some digging. Being authentic's not easy. And I'm only wanting to be around people that want to take that authenticity journey with me. So these are some of the things I realized this week. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful Sunday.